one off?
Hey, it's going to be tough, you know, just there's 3 races, 3 10-lap races, and, you know, start's going to be everything, but, you know, we'll see how it goes, and, you know, the track's kind of tough. It's a little rocky on the out on the outside of the stadium. Inside, it's tight. So one line and, you know, a start, like I said, is going to be key.
You just saw Ryan Dungey for the first time racing on that KTM. What are your thoughts?
He looks good, you know. I think KTM's making a big push, and, you know, I think with one of the best riders on it, I think they should make a lot of progress, and he'll be up there where he was last year.
Best of luck to you on your heat race.
Here's how it happened, Ricky.
Yeah, you can see right there, he lands wanting to accelerate, knowing that Ryan Dungey was hot on his heels, and you can see right here, he just couldn't get quite the drive out to get the guy.
So here's the results. Top 4 transfer straight. So Dungey, Metcalf, Tomac, and Braden will go. Everybody else will go on to the semis. And one of those riders in there is going to be, of course, Kevin Windham, who struggled with that crash in the opening corner.
We all know what last chances are like. We've seen a bunch of them this weekend, or this past year.
Go to speed.com, let us know what you think, and we'll give you an update later on what everybody's thinking. Heat 2's already in the gate, and you see the number 2. That's going to change to a number 1 when we head to Anaheim and kick off the Monster Energy Supercross season. Well, one thing the 3 of us up here in the booth can be accused of is some dumb things on wheels. And don't forget, here on Speed, we've got a pretty good show. Brings all that to you Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. Dumbest stuff on wheels. We have an all-new episode for you coming up this Wednesday. Don't act like you've never done anything
My favorite 30 minutes of television every week.
Speak for yourself.
You could be starring on that show weekly if you wanted to.
Yeah. We should do a Carmichael special.
Yeah.
We could do it all.
I remember a boat in Dallas that was pretty good for that.
You can see Villapoto here. He's taking the inside. And Jeff, I was looking at that inside there. That's almost extreme inside.
Yeah, because if you get out the gate about 30 or 40 feet and you run out of straight line.
Right.
So the straight line is actually about 3 or 4 gates out.
Yeah, like maybe where Tickle is there. You guys can see the number 20 of Brock Tickle. Yeah.
He's got Freezy right next to him.
On the 45.
Yeah. I think where Tickle is probably the premier spot.
4 more riders. 4 more riders coming out of this one. Don't forget, Michael Alessi took that big spill at practice today. Here we go, Heat 2. Alessi on the 800 tries to get a great start.
Yeah, it's all about sneaking around the inside, Ricky. You see Villapoto.
Jake Weimer gets the whole shot on the 32. Here comes Alessi screaming around the outside.
Into second. Wow, goes around Villapoto on the outside. Alessi on this privateer back Suzuki. He is motivated for the $1 million.
He said in the press conference this week, in a very emotional response to a question I asked him about what it would mean to win this $1 million, how far would you go? Jeff, he got really choked up because he is starting that team, and he said, I need this money to continue my racing career.
Hey, I've been there before. I felt that emotion that he was laying down, but earlier today in this corner was where he went down really hard. He has regrouped. Mike Alessi, he is a tough dude, and he looks great on this Suzuki. I like what I'm seeing, and I like the reason that he's riding. It's just going to give him that extra motivation.
Here he comes up Monster Mountain. Oh, and Villapoto tries to cut inside at the top.
Now that was an awesome move. That is very, very hard to do what Ryan Villapoto just did. You don't have a lot of room. It's tight. The bike wants to stall out. That was skill right there.
Yeah, and that's a brave move because Villapoto, he doesn't even have a lap yet on this track. He doesn't know where all those slick spots are. He's going to find out right now. Just testing it out. See as they get on the brakes there coming down into that turn. Oh, he makes a little mistake too.
Yeah.
Drops back a bike link.
He made a little mistake out of there coming out of that turn, but I am impressed with Mike Alessi right now. Look at him. He wants to set him up right now. Oh, I thought he was going to sneak underneath him. He's trying.
Watch him squaring it up.
Jeff, you can just tell from the way these guys are approaching things just on the opening lap of this heat race. Everybody knows points are not at stake here. They are not worrying about anything but $1 million.
Well, yeah, this is a true all-star event. It's one night of racing, the 3 main events, a lot on the line, and even if you don't win all 3 main events, there's still a $250,000 purse, $100,000 going to the winner. here. So that's a lot of motivation if you're Mike Alessi starting a new team.
Look at Weimer coming off the pegs, and here comes Villopoto inside. Got him. That's for second.
That was a nice move right there.
Yeah, it was. Set him up perfect. Textbook block pass right there. Nothing dirty, just a nice, sweet pass.
Yeah, and Villopoto really, of the top riders that we have seen in Heat 1 and now here in Heat 2, he's the first one that's taken those chances to get out of that main racing line, okay, and really try to stick it in there.
Yeah,
that was a nice move.
See how quick he caught up to his teammate there.
Oh, he's sharp right now. He is just so quick on the throttle. He knows how to, he's got this interesting technique. He just knows how to just weight the back of the bike.
Like this here. Look at this move. Perfectly executed. We have a new leader here in Heat 2. Villopoto goes to the lead. Weimer, Alessi, and Ben Townley on the 101 holds down fourth in the final transfer. Partridge, one spot out right now.
Villopoto just laid down the fastest lap of this heat. Weimer was at a 1:31. Villopoto was a 1:29.4.
Wow.
So right there with that lead pace. Now, Villopoto was the fastest rider in practice. I think the track is going to be faster now at the end of this heat as opposed to Heat 1.
That's Ben Townley right there on the 101 running in fourth. Boy, he's battled through a lot in his career.
Yeah, he sure has. You know, coming from a lot, you know, he had a spectacular year in 2007, and really since then it hasn't been what he had hoped it would have been. And you can see he's riding good here tonight and maybe trying to build up some confidence, get things going again.
Well, we saw the problems that Kevin Windham had on the track. How are things back in the pits, Aaron?
Looking a little frustrated right now, and as you see, that's Brian Kama, Kevin Windham's mechanic, working vigorously to get this bike in working order. But Kevin, you're on the sidelines. Take us through the frustrations and what you need to do to regroup now.
Well, this track's so difficult. I'm really disappointed about even if I come out of the semi with a decent finish, it's going to be poor gate position for the main event, and that's with a track like this. I think it's going to keep us all tight and hard to move through the pack. So right now we're trying to get this thing back going, bent some stuff up, having to make a shock change and stuff for semi qualification. So it's been a while since I've been in a semi, and hopefully we can get out there and have a good gate pick and give ourselves a shot at winning this race.
Las Vegas has been both kind and not so kind to Kevin Windham. We'll see how tonight ends up.
All right, Aaron, that was Ryan Clark on the 85 up on Monster Mountain. Looked like he was having some problems. No problems for Villopoto. He continues to lead here halfway through this second heat.
Well, look how he's getting the power to the ground. I mentioned that earlier. He's really good at shifting the weight when he needs to. Now, getting forward into turns to get the bite on the front tire, to get the bike turned around. Then he knows exactly when to switch his weight backwards to where he gets some bite on that rear tire and make that bike accelerate out of the turns. I mean, he just picks up the front wheel like 6 inches every turn.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You can see he takes his feet off the pegs a lot. And when he does that, see, he's starting to lose his balance. So when he loses his balance, instead of getting the bike upright, he just takes his leg off and he's able to keep the throttle on.
Battling here is Townley with Alessi, and that's Kyle Partridge coming into the screen as well. 3 riders now starting to battle over third, and if Alessi doesn't hang on here, he's not going to get the straight ticket to the main.
Hey, I tell you, the 76 here, Kyle Partridge, he's on a brand new ride here with the Hart & Huntington Kawasaki. And he's local. He's a Vegas boy.
Yeah.
This is where he grew up, and he is feeling it on this slippery, hard desert dirt. He's been riding this stuff his whole life.
This is like riding in his house,
his backyard.
Yeah, I grew up racing his brother, Jason Partridge, and I remember when this kid was in diapers and he's out here going for $1 million. It's cool to see, and he's riding really good. I mean, he's going to set, looks like he could set Alessi up. I mean, he's all over him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and what sort of bonus do you get from Carey Hart in this team? Your free tattoos? I mean, what's the deal? I mean, he's got so many sponsors on these things.
Well, you can have a good time in Vegas, that's for sure. And Carey's putting quite a team together. He's going to have 4 riders competing for the Monster Energy Supercross Series this year, which is fantastic. Great to see that Hart & Huntington team getting bigger.
Very rocky in the back section, but it's still kind of loam on top too, so.
Well, as you can see, Alessi doing everything he can to hang on with 4 to go to see if he can get a shot straight to the main. I talked about how earlier this week in the press conference, he was so emotional about how much this money would mean to him and pushing his team forward. Take a listen.
A lot of people don't realize how hard it is, the riders, you know. Even myself, I've been a factory rider for so long, and to have to pay out of my own pocket to go riding and to pay $8,000, $9,000 for a motorcycle, bone stock, with no parts, no motor work, and no tie bolts, nothing. It's it puts me in a tough position, you know, because in my course of my career, I've obviously made money. I've done pretty well for myself, but I may have not done as well as obviously like Kevin. He's been racing a long time, or Ryan, you know, winning both championships this year. And for me, I didn't finish on the podium not once this whole season. I didn't make any bonus money. So for me to do good this weekend is really going to help me out a lot, and I definitely need it.
And the first step in that is to get into the mains.
Yep.
As quick as possible.
He's doing a good job. He does have some heat from Partridge, but he seemed to have pulled out a little breathing room here.
Yeah, I mean, you get that incentive right there. Like, wait a second.
Yep.
I need to get moving. I need to get going forward here. Possibly he found some better lines or just turned up the intensity a little bit.
Yeah, you don't transfer out of that first heat there. I mean, you're asking for problems. You know, it just is on a track like this, a short start like this, anything can happen. We heard what Kevin Windham just said.
Yeah, sand whoops here. Alessi, you see, he's just kind of bouncing through there, and Partridge just carried so much more momentum. Alessi's a little bit gun shy.
I was going to say, Jeff, that's exactly where he crashed. Do you think that's part of the situation that plays in the back of your mind?
Man, it is, but they've smoothed it out. But it just, gets me to thinking that maybe they don't quite have enough time on the Suzuki with the suspension setup, and they're just not keeping the back of that bike from bucking. And Ricky, when the seat hits you in the rear, what happens to the throttle?
The throttle goes the opposite way.
It gets turned forward.
When the thing huckabucks, the throttle goes up, not down.
And that's the thing. Hey, if you can keep the back of the bike down and it's just driving across, you just feel like you can hold the throttle wide open and you can just hit everything as hard as you want. But when that seat hits you, it's like, nah.
Well, Fro, you and I stood down on the track in the opening practices today, and when the bikes first came out, Mike Alessi was by far one of the most aggressive riders in that opening practice. He was really letting it rip. And after that crash, it seems like it maybe took a little bit of the edge off.
Well, let's take another look at it.
Yeah, let's show you that again. Here he comes into that sand section, but it was at the far end, Fro, where things went bad.
Yeah, he hits that soft, wet spot there, and he tries to keep the bike on the track, but that back tire was just coming up too high, and he hit the ground really hard. And we watched that replay a few times. I'm telling you, he's got to be a tough dude just to still be on the motorcycle at this point.
He's got 2 laps to go here, and he's got a lot of pressure from Kyle Partridge. And Partridge forces his way past.
He parked him, Ralph. You can say it.
Yeah.
He parked him right there, and that was an aggressive move. He set that up by being fast through those whoop section and carrying more momentum into the turn.
And that's what you're going to see here at the Monster Energy Cup.
Now let's look at it again. Watch this.
Take it, Ricky.
A little hesitant coming in, obviously. He has the right for that, and boom. Actually, he didn't even...
He didn't really touch him, did he?
Didn't even touch him.
Yeah, but you got to know. Alessi has to know. He has to hear that Partridge is there. You should hear that. And he was lined up. I mean, he came into that turn way on the outside. I mean, he wasn't trying to protect his line.
Yeah, but he's been going through those things. We all just seen the bad crash he had in practice, so he's probably going to be a little tentative going in there, and Partridge knew that and took advantage of it.
Problem is, there's 1 lap to go, and Mike Alessi is now looking at a much longer night of racing if he cannot get back around Partridge. In fact, Tickle now starting to close in and put some heat on Alessi as well.
Well, here we're back to the number 2, your leader. He's basically won everything this year. Look at how he goes through here. It's just amazing. He's turned a 127.4. I mean, Villopoto is absolutely flying. Weimer, Townley are 129, so is Partridge. And once you get to Alessi, he's at a 1.